Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to create a slideshow or a multimedia presentation with visual and audio that a player can select through. And this took a little bit of finagling to get working, but I finally got it working. And this is as much a note to myself as it is a tutorial that I put out for my subscribers. Anyway, this is just very primitive to show you how it works. And of course, you would need to spruce it up. What I have here is I have 3 images and 3 sound files, and down here on the bottom I have the controls to cycle through them. So when I hit play, let me stop the game here. So this is what it looks like without the game playing, and then I hit play, and of course you don't see anything, right? And then what we can do is I hit this button, and as soon as I hit this button, a sound file and an image is going to display. So here we go. There's that one. And these are all just sound files and image files inside of Unreal Engine. That's why they look and sound so weird. But these could be files that you import yourself. And then if I, oops, I have to hit Shift F1 here. And then if I hit that again, I get that. And I hit it again, I get that. And then I can't go any further because I'm at the end of my files. And then I can go back though. So I go this way. And it seems very simple, but it has a ton of application if you wanted to have a storyboard or something with audio that a player could interact with and play back a story or hear a story or whatever you wanted to use it for. So anyway, I'll be back in just a minute and we'll walk through this. I tried to get this to work with an event dispatcher and I could not get it to work. And so I had to end up using a Blueprint interface, and then it finally worked. I'll be back and we'll get started. Okay, I'm back and I'm ready to get started. And I have the system audio on to record so be able to hear the sound files play, but normally I turn that off because sometimes that's distracting. But anyway, I am really excited to bring this tutorial just because I had this in my head for the longest time and I just haven't had the time to sit aside and kind of work it through. And so I think it's really super cool. So anyway, to get started, we're going to do the user interface. And like I said, this is just a real quick and dirty. This isn't polished. It's just to show you the working concept. We'll go into a new widget Blueprint here. I'll just dock this up top. And I'll just go ahead and get a canvas panel. And I don't know why I don't see more tutorials like this around. I don't know. That's a good or bad sign. There's just a few things that we need. We just need our buttons and an image on here. So I'm just going to try to do this as fast as I can. I'll just get a button here and drag it down on the hierarchy. And I'll go ahead and call this forward. And then I'll just get some text to put on it. I don't have to even really do that, but here on the text, we're just going to make it the, I always get confused if it's the less than or greater than sign, but it's that one. On here, we're going to go ahead and size this to content. And we'll click that. And if we can drag this, if I can get it, I have a hard time grabbing it half the time. Just put it down here on the bottom like that. Once that's created, we're just going to we'll hit Control D and duplicate it. And then we'll just call this one backward. And then all we have to do is change out the text marker here to the other one, the other angle bracket. And then if we can grab this, sometimes if I can't grab it, I'll just grab it here with use these numeric controls and just reposition it down here. I don't know why it gives me such a hard time. Once it's down here, I can grab it. So, and then we'll just put it there. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then the last thing is an image. So the idea on this is that you're going to go into an external program like Photoshop and you're going to create some kind of graphics, you know, with text on them, like you would a PowerPoint presentation or something. I'm imagining that what you're going to be importing is JPEG files of a certain size, but whatever size you make it, like if you're going to make it 1000 by 800, that's what I'm going to make this. That's what size everything needs to be. So one size for everything. So anyway, we get the search up here for image, and then we just drag this into the scene here. And like I said, whatever size you want it to be. So I said, what did I say, 1,000 by, I don't know, 800 or something like that. Something pretty good sized, right? And then we can just position this here in the middle like that. And we can just leave it like that. And then just compile and save. And essentially that is our interface. And just remember that it is 1,000 by 800. Now what we're going to do, and this is kind of a takeoff on a tutorial I did a long time ago on limitless story cards. But with the image selected, we're going to come up here to the brush and go to bind, create binding. And this is going to take us into this function here. And this is where things to me get kind of interesting. So what we can do in here, and this is really interesting, is we can actually store our array inside our widget blueprint. When I never, and before, you know, there's different places that you can store data in Unreal Engine, and what's really fascinating is that you can pretty much store it anywhere you can store it. So wherever you want to store it. So in this case, we're just going to store it in here. There's really any number of places you can store your data. It's kind of up to you. And I guess whatever works, works. So here we're going to create a variable, and it's going to be an array. And I'm just going to call this, let's just call this image array, because that's really what it is. And then we're going to search for something here called texture 2D. And that's basically a JPEG or any, you know, JPEG, BMP, PNG, any 2D image is really what texture 2D is. So we just, and then this is going to be an array. So we're going to store an array, and it has to be instance editable. And then we got that. And this is really nifty because here, once we compile it, we can add as many elements as we want. And literally you could have hundreds, and here I don't know that you'd put 100, but maybe you'd put in 40 or 50 or quite a few. And these could all be imported. But like I said, I'm just going to grab whatever is available here. I might have to stretch this out a little bit. Oh, here we go. I was missing this. Here I can search inside of Unreal Engine, and that's where these images are coming from, right? So I'm just grabbing them. Let's just do 4, okay? So there's my 4 images right there, and we compile and save. But if you imported your files, those would also show up here, okay? And then from here, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to get our array here, drag off of here, and go get copy right there. And then we're going to need something, I don't know if I've created it yet, but we can create it here because it'll show over on our event graph. We need an index counter. So what we're going to do is we're going to store that in our widget blueprint 2, our index. So we're going to go to index, and this is just going to be a integer. And this is not an array, it's just a single value. And it needs to be instance editable too. And we'll drag that in. And we're going to set this here to -1 because it's going to increment. And when it increments by 1, it'll be 0, which will be the beginning of the array. So we'll just go ahead and compile and save that. And then I can get this index here. And then we're just going to pop this into here like that. And then the last thing that we need is to get something called make brush from texture. And this essentially just creates our image, whatever, prints out our image, whatever it is. So make brush from texture. This is a really great node here. And this is going to go into here like that. I guess this doesn't even need to be kind of there like this. Like that. And then this goes into return value. And then this is going to come all the way across like that. And then here you put your size in. So what did I have? 1,000 by 800. So we go 1,000, and then we're going to go 800. And the neat thing about this is once you have this built, you don't have to keep building this. You know, you can migrate this over to a new project. So it's just some kind of grunt work we got to do the first time. Now this part's pretty easy too. We're going to jump back over into the event graph right here. And on the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We're going to make a blueprint real fast, and this is going to be for our audio file. I'll just call this blueprint class and actor, and we'll call this audio player. And just bring it into existence so it's there. So I might have to, I don't think you have to compile it, just save it. Okay. And then let's go back into our widget so we can reference it. Because I'm going to try to get the widget blueprint done, and then we'll finish up in the audio player. Okay, so we'll go back here into the new widget blueprint. While we're at it, because I need one more thing, is let's go ahead and create our blueprint interface too. So that's, we can wire that up too. So I'm just going to come up here and go to blueprint interface. And like I said, I tried to do this. I'll just leave it called new interface. And we're going to double click into it. We'll leave that called new function. And we just need an input here to pass along an integer. So I'm going to call this index, because we're going to get our counter value from our widget blueprint, and it needs to go into our audio player. So this is going to be an integer, and it's just single, and that's all we got to do. So it creates an input here that we can pass along. And then remember, the principle is that the receiving blueprint needs to implement the interface. So let's just go ahead and do that real fast here. We'll come in here and we'll go to class settings, and we should come over here and we'll just implement that interface here. So it's called new interface right here, and we'll just go ahead and compile and save that. And if we come over here in the event graph here and I just double click it, there it is right there with our index value. Okay, so then let's just jump back now into our widget blueprint, and we can just finish up everything that we need in here. So what we're going to do as we increment through our index counter, we're going to go up and go down in values, and then we'll be able to send that value over here to our audio player so that we can go through our audio files. So we're using this counter in a couple of different ways, one to go through our image files and one to go through our audio files at the same time. So it's pretty cool how that works. So I'm going to delete these two nodes because I don't need them and they're just kind of crowding the screen. And then here on event construct, what we're going to do is we're going to get a reference to our audio player. So I'll go get actor of class right here, and then we'll just get our audio player right there. Okay, we just need that reference. And then all we got to do is we're going to select our, let's start with our forward button first, and we'll go on clicked. It comes in like that. And then we get our index counter here, right? And then we'll just drag on get it, and then we're going to set it, and then this is going to increment. So we're going to go add here, add 1. And like I said, in Unreal, there's so many different ways you can do things. And we're going to clamp these values because we only have so many images to go through. So you'd have to do this manually. There's other ways you could stop the loop, but we're just going to clamp it. So here, I'm going to pull off of here and go clamp. And this is so it just stops clicking. People can only click so far. So we only have 4 elements, so we're going to set this from 0 to 3. And then this just plugs in here like this. And this is our index counter here, right there. And then here, once we have a reference to our actor of class, we actually need to call through our interface. So I should be able to search for, I have to do this a couple ways sometimes. New function right there, there it is right there. Target says new interface. So our target is going to be, even though we're going through the interface, our target is going to be our audio player. So here we're just going to pop this into here and this into here. I was just curious, searching, if I search for new function, how many pop up? Yeah, so just these 2 pop up. Okay, just curious about that. And that is that. And then what we're going to do is go the other way. So I'm going to hit on backwards here. And what I can do is just literally, I can just copy all of this. So I'm just going to select, let me pull that back a little bit. Let me just select all this and hit Control D. And then the only thing that's going to be changed is instead of going up, we're going to go down. So I'll hit backwards here on clicked right here. And I'm losing, I'll move this in a little bit closer. So everything's tighter. And then all we're going to do here is, instead of adding, we're going to subtract. So here we're going to go subtract this, subtract, and we're going to subtract 1. And then this is going to go into value here, and this is going to go in there like that. And that's the whole, oh, and then this reference needs to come in down here. And I can reroute this a little bit because it's getting kind of messy, but okay, so that's that. And then compile and save. And that's all we need to do for our widget blueprint, which is pretty cool. And like I said, this could be a lot more sophisticated. Okay, so then after this is done, all we have to do is finish up in our audio player, and this is pretty fun. So here, we're just going to go ahead and delete this, and we'll go ahead and create our widget blueprint right up here. So off of here, we'll just go create widget, and we'll go new widget blueprint, and we'll add to viewport. It's right there, and that takes care of that. And then we have this event function that's going to drive our thing. So what we're going to do is, the one thing we need to do is search for what's called a audio component. So we're going to go audio component, audio, it's right here, it just says audio, and that's all we need, and that's all we have. And if you want to put some kind of physical representation of it here, you could put a sphere or something, so you know where it is in the scene. And then once we have that, we're almost on the home stretch. So here, what we're going to do here, I had difficulty putting the audio files in the widget blueprint and getting it to work, so I decided to put the audio files in here. So what we're going to do here is actually create an array of our sound files separately. So our image files are going to be stored in our widget blueprint, and our audio files are going to be stored in the audio player. And so here, I'm just going to put audio files here like that. And then we're going to search for wave files. So we should search for sound wave right there. And these are going to be all object references. And this is going to be an array. So we'll come over here and select array. We're almost done. And we'll make it instance editable. And then here you can add whatever files you want, you know. And so I'm just grabbing stuff, you know, camera shutter, you can just grab whatever you want. I might have to pull this out a little bit to select them. So we'll just grab whatever, you know, click on button, just whatever random sounds. But if you brought in audio wave files, and this could be a person talking or whatever here, these are just files straight out of Unreal Engine. We just put them in here like that. And they'll correspond to whatever our images are. So you just need to line those up with whatever your images are. Then all we have to do is really, there's just a couple things we need to do. Is once we have we'll compile and save that, we'll get our array of audio files here, and we'll pull off of here, and we'll go get a copy of those, and then you can probably see where this is going. And then we just hook this up here like that, and then we get our audio component, a reference to that, and then all we have to do, there's just 2 nodes left. We go set sound right here. This is so cool. And our array actually goes into here because that's our audio file. And then this, let me pull that up a little bit. This goes into here like that. And then the last thing is play. So then we just drag off of here and go get play. Play. And this goes in there like so. And then of course you have a start time you could use there if you wanted to do that. And that's, as far as I know, everything. And compile and save it. And then all we have to do is drag our audio player into the scene. And there it is. And you can adjust the volume on this thing if you go into the blueprint here. So if I go into my audio player and click on the audio component, you'll see over here we have volume multiplier and things like that. And hopefully this will work. So hopefully I didn't miss something. Let's see if it works. I don't know. So we hit play. There's our audio controls. We don't see anything. I hit the button. There's that. There's that. There's that. And there's that. And then we should be able to go back the other way, this way. And once I get to the end, I can't click anymore, but then I can keep toggling through whatever it is there. So anyway, I hope you found this of some help. I really do appreciate each and every subscriber. So take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.